Hey guys, welcome back. And it's been a very long time since I did a last video. There's obviously been a lot of changes and stuff. We had the NLC breakdown that we did on Twitch with Previous and the guys from LeagueWorks. I've recently had a positive COVID case as well, so I've been kind of trying to recover from that and build up my strength so then I can do one. Feeling all right today, so I thought that I'd try and do some. But let's talk about NLC Div 2. A lot has changed, a lot has kind of developed over the last couple months from the time where we thought we knew who was going to be in the NLC Div 2, Div 1 kind of structure. We've had a lot of changes, everything along those lines. I guess the start of it all was the X7 acquisition of Absolved. So that meant that X7 would move straight up into NLC Div 1. But since that one move, it's been almost like a domino effect of teams leaving the NLC. Obviously, Div 1's also undergone a lot of organisation changes in terms of organisations that were in the NLC before have left and been replaced by obviously the new ones that we had through the calibration series. But Div 2 has undergone quite the drastic change. So when we first looked at Div 2, when we finished the calibrations and stuff like that, we were left with a Div 2 that looked like this. We had Resolve, Natives, Flong, London Esports, MRG, Verdant, London United, Lightside Sweden, Dusty, and AAB. Those were our 10 teams. Since then, however, we have undergone massive changes with the Div 2 structure, with loads of teams dropping out for a variety of reasons, most of them being that being in Div 2 doesn't seem that financially viable for a lot of these organizations that might have expected a little bit more, I don't know, support or just some general plans on how the kind of financial stuff would work out. This is primarily targeted at the fact that a lot of people have reported that there's not a lot of prize pool for these divisions, especially Div 2, which means that for all of these Div 2 teams, if they're not throwing in if they're not sustaining on quite a lot of money and they're not aiming straight away for that Div 1 promotion and they're just trying to like build maybe a base in Div 2 and then push, it doesn't seem too financially viable to be staying in the league. We'll start at the top. So Resolve, they were one of the teams that have dropped out currently. So Resolve have dropped out. Natives, Flong are staying. London Esports recently, so these are the very recent ones, they dropped out. MRG, Verdant, London United all staying in the competition. The same with Lightside Sweden, they're still in it. Ape Esports, they replaced Dusty. So Dusty acquired the 00 Nations spot in the Div 1. So Dusty have moved up and Ape Esports took that place. So what does this mean for the rest? So when Resolve dropped out of the league, this meant that the spot went to Nox Esports. And Nox Esports were one of the teams from the open qualifiers. When we went into the closed qualifiers, they made it into that last chance qualifier for Div 2. They were the third place team. So out of the 4 teams, all 4 of those teams in the last chance qualifiers have now been basically promoted into Div 2 because so many teams have shuffled around. Dusty moved up, Resolve dropped out, London Esports dropped out, and I think I'm missing one more move. I can't remember that one move, but all 4 of them by now have all moved up into Div 2. So obviously that means the landscape for Div 2 has been changed. We're waiting for some more information about, I guess, a Div 2 plan to see if what people have been saying is correct about there being no financial aid and no real prize pool in place for the Div 2. But obviously this does mean that we've said bye to a lot of very big orgs in terms of like what they've previously done for the esports, especially in the Nordic scene, especially if you think about the UK scene, which where most of these organizations have come from. If you're thinking about Resolve and London Esports, these are 2 very brand new organizations that have done a lot for the UK scene, definitely. I mean, Resolve were the acquirers of the Barrage spot. They've done an awful a lot amount of kind of income into the esports. They brought up a lot of UK talent as well, and continue to be an advocate for those UK talent. The same with London esports. I don't think anyone can underestimate the London esports, kind of like what they've achieved in League of Legends as well, with the amount they've done for the UK scene especially. So these are two very big primarily figures in not only Nordics but also for the UK. And going forward, having a Div 2 or an NLC without them is going to feel very, very strange. Hopefully we can see some of these newer teams come in and kind of take over where they left off. Obviously Nox have got an amazing team behind them. I was very impressed with how they've kind of worked with their team. They've kept quite a lot of their talent throughout their whole kind of stay so far in League of Legends. Obviously we've got new kind of faces of UK League of Legends with Verdant and London United in Div 2 as well. And we've obviously got X7, who seem like they're kind of taking the reins as one of the powerhouses of UK esports and primarily at the moment UK League of Legends. So it's not all doom and gloom, but definitely having an NLC without Resolve and London esports is going to feel very, very weird. But obviously all the best for those organizations. I know whatever esports they're going to be entering next or primarily focusing on, they're going to do fantastic, as both have an amazing ownership team behind them and amazing strategies when it comes to how they can improve UK esports especially. So that's all we're going to be talking about. That's what I wanted primarily to have this video focused on for today, just being the NLC Div 2 stuff that's happened. I will catch you guys later.